Hey, this is C&D Channel. I'm Chris. This is MMA for you. I'm going to be doing my predictions for World Series of Fighting 6, Burkman versus Carl, which happens on October 26th. Overall, I like this card. Good main event. Burkman's coming off that win over Fitch. Fitch is fighting on this card. You got some prospects like Gaethje and Marlon Moraes. The undercard's pretty good as well. Miguel Torres is fighting, Volkmann, Alexis, Vila, prospects like Hans Stringer, who else? There's some guys that are undefeated like Andrew Yates. I don't know if they'll win their fights, but Nick LoBosco, like I said, I don't know if he'll win his fight. But he is like you got some undefeated guys on here. So overall, good card. Okay, let's get started. Josh, the People's Warrior Burkman, fights Steve Carl. Good welterweight fight here. Steve Carl, he's fighting like Bellator and whatnot. Burkman, UFC veteran, really doing well so far, especially in World Series of Fighting. Burkman has a 26-9 record, 6 wins by KO or TKO, 10 wins by sub. He also has 5 losses by submission. 33 years old, 5-fight win streak. Good amount of finishes in that win streak as well. Beat up Aaron Simpson with strikes. Choked out John Fitch, which people thought was like impossible to do. Trains at Pit Elevated. Good kickboxer, really good knees. You got to see that against Simpson, actually. Really strong guillotine. Besides the Fitch win, he's actually won a good amount of his submission victories by guillotine. Overall, good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. If I remember some of his UFC fights, I remember him having solid takedown defense as well. Steve Carl, though, 20-3 record, 2 wins by KO or TKO, 15 wins by sub. 28 years old, 6-fight win streak, and within that win streak, all first-round submissions. If I'm not mistaken, 4 of those in that win streak are by rear naked choke. Trains at Hard Drive MMA, really strong Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and good back control too. That's something I noticed. He really knows how to take that back and get that back control. Tough one for me to call because, I know Burkman's on a roll, but Steve Carl is actually a really pretty decent welterweight. And if it hits the ground, or if you hit some scrambles, Steve Carl, pretty good there. But you know what? I gotta go with the obvious pick here. Josh Burkman. I just think Burkman is going to be the better striker. Probably will be able to defend some takedowns. Knows what to do if it does hit the ground. I'll go with Burkman. I think he keeps up the resurgence. Next fight after that, Carson Beebe fights Marlon Moraes. Carson Beebe, the younger brother of Chase Beebe. 14-2 record. 2 wins by KO or TKO, 5 wins by sub, 25 years old, just got some solid Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Marlon Moraes, 11-4 record with 1 draw, 4 wins by KO or TKO, 3 wins by sub. He also has 2 losses by KO or TKO and 2 losses by sub. 25 years old on a 5-fight win streak, strong Muay Thai, showed some really powerful leg kicks in his last fight. His takedown defense and overall grappling has been improving, especially nowadays he trains with like Frank Yeager, Ricardo Almeida, and over there. Gotta go with Moraes. I think he's gonna need some new challenges, man. I like seeing him in the UFC. Solid fighter. I think he beats up Carson on the feet. I don't know if he'll get taken down. Utilize those leg kicks and his other Muay Thai arsenal for the win. So, yeah, Marlon Moraes for the win here. Next fight after that, Marcelo Alfaya fights John Fitch. You know, you can't help but look at this fight and think this is something of a comeback fight for Fitch. Nothing against Marcelo. You know, he has a 15-6 record with 1 no contest. 4 wins by KO or TKO, 6 wins by sub. He also has 2 losses by KO or TKO. He's 34 years old on a 3-fight win streak. Training out of ATT and Team Nogueira. John Fitch recently moved to New York, but still training out of AKA. He has a 24-6 record with 1 draw and 1 no contest. 5 wins by KO or TKO, 5 wins by sub. He also has 2 losses by KO or TKO and 2 losses by sub. He's 35 years old on a 2-fight losing streak. That would be to Damon Maya and Josh Burkman. Trains out of AKA. He's actually only won 1 of his last 5. That one was Eric Silva. Before that, he had a draw with BJ Penn. Then he got knocked out by Johnny Hendricks. We all know what Fitch is good at. He's a grinder, good wrestling, relentless about getting those takedowns, really good top control, uses the stay busy ground and pound. His striking, always been just kind of average, you know. I think John Fitch grinds his way to a victory over Marcelo Alfaya. If he fights like he did against Eric Silva and tries to get more dominant positions, maybe tries to take the back. I don't know, mate. I don't know how he's going to come into this fight. If he's going to come in with something to prove, or if he's going to play it safe to get a much-needed victory. I don't know. One thing to also consider about John Fitch is the guy on the downslope of his career. He's past his prime. He's 35 years old. Been in a lot of fights, over 30 fights. Been getting knocked out or choked out, which is never a good sign as well. Is the guy on the downslope of his career. I don't think Alfaya is the guy to expose that, but it's a very interesting thing with John Fitch. Next fight after that, Justin Gaethje fights Dan Lauzon. Read a cool article about Lauzon. Apparently he is repo man by day, or repo man as a night job, trains during the day, reconciled with his brother Joe Lauzon, even trains with him now. 17-4 record, 9 wins by KO or TKO, 7 wins by sub. He has 2 losses by sub as well. 25 years old on a 5-fight win streak. Yeah, he's always had good. He's kind of like his brother in a sense. Good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, kind of average striking. He's actually a guy that's always kind of had motivation problems and whatnot. I think he's kind of turning that around. It looks like, especially with the 5-fight win streak. Justin Gaethje, though. 9-0 undefeated record, 7 wins by KO or TKO, 1 win by sub, 24 years old, trains out of Grudge, very aggressive guy, always pushing forward, reckless yet effective striking. I mean, this guy does not have great technique by any stretch. He did manage to leg kick Brian Cobb to victory, but he was in bad positions against him as well. Really good wrestling as well. As far as technical prowess, Justin does not have it. He's not a very technical guy, but he makes up for that with his aggression and his ability to constantly push forward. I gotta go with the young prospect, Justin Gaethje, for the victory here. Okay, on to the prelims. Miguel Torres fights Pablo Alfonso. Alfonso has an 8-5 record. 2 wins by KO or TKO, 6 wins by sub. He has 2 losses by sub as well. He's 35 years old on a 2-fight win streak. Trains out at MMA Masters with guys like, I believe, Josh Saman, Amanda Nunez. I think they train at MMA Masters. He is a finisher. Miguel Angel Torres, 40-6 record. 9 wins by KO or TKO, 23 wins by sub. He also has 2 losses by KO or TKO. He's 32 years old on a 2-fight losing streak. He's only won 1 of his last 4 fights, so I hope he can bounce back here. He trains out of TriStar. Former WEC bantamweight champion. It's good boxing. Utilizes a good jab. It's a product of TriStar and for us a hobby. Strong Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Doesn't use it enough though. Even though he has 23 wins, but he's definitely not a guy that generally tries to initiate his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Mainly because he's never been a strong wrestler. He actually doesn't have that good of takedown defense. Because he's so strong off his back that he doesn't really care about getting taken down. I do feel his chin may be deteriorating. Obviously, Brian Bowles really cracked him. He's been in a lot of wars as well. And you can kind of see in his fighting style a bit more conservativeness. He says he's going to try and go back to the old Miguel Torres. I always hate it when a fighter says, I'm going back to the old me. Because, it's kind of meaningless. It's like you're getting older. Chins don't get better. This idea of going back to the old me. It never bodes well for guys. Despite all that, I think Miguel Torres beats Pablo, Alfonso. More experience. Good on the ground. Good stand-up. Got to go with Miguel Torres to win this one. Next fight is that Luiz Firmino fights Jacob Volkmann. Firmino, 16-6 record, 1 win by TKO, 7 wins by sub. He's 31 years old on a 3-fight win streak. Trains out of the Black Zillions. Jacob Volkmann, 16-4 record, 7 wins by sub, 9 wins by decision. He actually has 3 losses by sub as well. He's 33 years old. Trains out of the Minnesota Martial Arts Academy. Strong wrestler. Really strong top control. Relentless about getting his takedowns. Striking's kind of weak. Footwork's a bit awkward though. Not his strength anyways. Not his game. Gotta go Jacob Volkmann for the win here. Next fight after that, Francisco France fights Hans Stringer. Francisco France has an 8-3 record. All 8 wins by submission. He has 2 losses by KO TKOs. He's only been to decision 1 time. He is a finisher, 30 years old, trains out of Finney's Hit Squad. Hans Stringer, 21-5 record with 2 draws, 9 wins by KO TKO, 8 wins by sub. 26 years old, on a 4-fight win streak, training out of the Black Zillions. Gotta go with Hans Stringer to get the win here. Next fight after that, Josh Rettinghouse fights Alexis Vila. Rettinghouse has a 9-2 record. 2 wins by KO or TKO. 6 wins by sub. He also has 2 losses by sub as well. 23 years old on a 2-fight win streak. He has good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu skills. Alexis Vila, 13-3 record. 7 wins by KO or TKO. 3 wins by sub. 42 years old. Not really a prospect, but still a good fighter. On a 2-fight win streak. Training out of ATT. He has really strong wrestling. I believe he's an Olympian. Is he an Olympian? I think he is. Heavy hands. Still remember when he knocked out Joe Warren. That was one of the best knockouts I've ever seen. Good boxing to complement his wrestling. Gotta go with Alexis Vila to win this one. Next fight after that, Fabio Mello fights Nick LoBosco. Fabio Mello, 11-6 record, 2 wins by KO TKO, 5 wins by sub, 38 years old, 7-fight win streak, good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I notice a lot of his wins are by the arm triangle. I love the arm triangle. I use it all the time when sparring and rolling. Nick LoBosco, 6-0 undefeated record, 2 wins by KO TKO, 2 wins by sub, 29 years old. All of his finishes have been in the first round. Despite all that, I do have Fabio Mello winning this one. Next fight after that, Chad Robichaux fights Andrew Yates. It's kind of a theme here. You definitely got this much younger guy. Actually, in these 2 fights, it's a theme. You got the undefeated younger guy versus the guy in his late 30s. Or in Alexis, just you got a lot of younger fighter versus older fighter here. always something to watch out for because you never know if that prospect's just going to totally blow past the experienced veteran. But next fight I thought was Chad Robichaux versus Andrew Yates. Andrew Yates has a 7-0 undefeated record with 1 win by TKO, 4 wins by sub, 24 years old, training at a One Fight team. Chad Robichaux, though, 12-2 record, 1 win by TKO, 10 wins by sub, just beat Joseph Sandoval by a north-south choke. 38 years old, good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Most of his finishes are actually in the first round. If not, I think he only has like 2 or 3 victories in the second round. So with that said, I'm going to go with experience here. Chad Robichaux for the win. And finally, Alexandre Pimentel fights Jade Porter. Pimentel has a 12-1 record, 2 wins by KO TKO, 6 wins by sub, 35 years old. Jade Porter, 9-3 record, 2 wins by sub, 7 wins by decision. He also has 2 losses by submission. He's on a 2-fight losing streak, training out of Power MMA. Guys like Dalloway, Seth Baczynski, Ryan Bader, Aaron Simpson all train out of Power MMA. Despite all that, I'll go with Alexandre Pimentel for the win. So that's it for my predictions for World Series of Fighting 6. If you have any comments, just leave them below. And that's it for MMA for you. Thank you guys very much.